So Cullen, it is great to have you here for today's session. We're talking about credentials and documentation management for MSPs. So why don't you give us a little introduction into that?
Yeah, I mean, MSPs have long needed to work with and use very privileged passwords, and supporting a number of different clients, the need to share knowledge and information and document those networks is continually becoming more and more important to them. We've taken an approach from a security side to help them really narrow down the focus of where they're putting data, how to secure it and gain access to it, but then at the same time also looking to provide efficiencies in helping speed up and make their business more efficient as well.
So we talk a lot about security, particularly in this Thwack camp, and I'll say one of the things that's really interesting is we talk about it from an engineering perspective. So we talk about the encryption, we talk about the assets, we're talking about governance, and we're talking about compliance. But what you're really talking about is something different, and that's technician efficiency.
Yeah, and so, I mean, you need to be efficient in your business as an MSP, right? Because they're offering a lot of flat rate services. They need to be as efficient as possible while also being effective as possible. And with that comes a desire to just take on what's convenient all the time instead of what is delivering security with that efficiency. And so technician efficiency is huge, and right now the MSPs are storing all this information about their clients and passwords in a bunch of different systems. And the problem is that none of those systems were really intended to be secure storage vaults for things like credentials. So when they have an opportunity to bring that all into a single place, one, it limits their footprint of risk of all the different systems they have to control access to, but two, it drives more efficiency because it's one place, one single source of truth that each technician goes to gain access of information and then access rights to their client networks.
Okay, so Colin, I'm getting the sense that you're not a big fan of using Excel spreadsheets and Post-it notes for secure password management.
Right, it's such a risk to these MSPs, and again, it goes back to what's convenient, right? Is they have all these tools from their PSAs to RMM, spreadsheets, notebooks, everything, and that just widens the potential for risk for them. And so what we've done is pulled that together so that we can give them all the convenience of that, but then also the ability to share that across the technical team as well. So it doesn't matter if somebody goes away on vacation and that person's note is with them, or their laptop with the spreadsheets with them, or they didn't update the other one. It's all synced throughout all their devices, and then any technician can now come in and gain access to that same knowledge and access so that they can go and help another client when that person's away.
Great. Now, when we've talked previously, I've heard you talk about this notion of the keys to the kingdom. So we know small businesses, larger companies, everyone is thinking more and more about security, but MSPs are under a particular threat. Talk a little bit more about that and the concept of the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, so these MSPs aren't logging in with a regular everyday user account to a line of business application. All of the credentials that they use are at the most privileged nature, so that they can administer, configure, set up, and manage all of those applications and IT systems. So those really are the keys to the kingdom, and with having those in their hands, they can do amazing things and take care of all their client networks, right?
Right, the good stuff.
Exactly, but in the wrong hands, that's also gives people great access to do very bad things. And so they need to get their own houses in order, because as many firewall systems and data encryption and backup and everything else that they're putting out and implementing at their client networks, if that password is compromised to get into that system and delete backups, or get past the firewall, or change the configuration, or do whatever else, a lot of that security is moot. And it's becoming a larger growing threat for these MSPs as well, because people are starting to take focus of MSPs and what they have access to. And so they're becoming a larger target for some bad actors out there.
All right, well, that's passwords. Now let's talk a little bit about documentation management, because I think people don't think about that as well as being a potential open door.
Right, exactly. And it's one of those things where documentation seems very innocent. And the thing is MSPs have this very unstandard set of documentation out there. So they deal with a lot of service delivery inconsistency, missing client knowledge. Somebody leaves and that client knowledge leaves with them. And so we've brought together a solution that, again, brings that all together and helps them standardize how they capture the knowledge and information across their clients. And on one hand, that's really good, because now we empower every technician in their company to be able to support any client, because they have all the knowledge that they need to do and everything that they need to know about a client's IT system, which is very powerful again in their hands. But again, if you think about it in the wrong hands, it's essentially the blueprints to that entire client's IT system, which tells me everything I need to know to take an attack on that business. And so that information needs to be secured. And again, with driving more and more efficiency and trying to eliminate this time wasted just searching for information, trying to get access, we're able to bring together all that knowledge into a single place and into a secure platform, and then integrate that with the privileged credential management so that they know what they need to do, how to do it, and now they have the access to go and do that.
So we're talking about securing passwords and documentation, technician efficiency, and then there's one more extension, which is really providing this as a service to clients on the other side. So extending that efficiency, extending that security one more level.
Exactly, and it all comes down to it again. As MSPs, they're deploying these amazing cloud solutions and applications and everything else for their clients, but what a lot of people have failed to notice, and not the clients though, is that the client now has a growing number of credentials that they need to take care of and manage to log into.
That rainbow of Post-it notes.
It's all of them, and that's exactly what happens. You have these Post-it notes, or they're setting the same password everywhere, and they really just don't have a solution. They know that they need one, but their trusted advisor hasn't recommended it to them yet or told them what one it is to select. So what we've been able to do now is, again, bring that to a level where we can empower MSPs to deliver a password management as a service offering out to their clients, do it under their brand so that their brand is giving this security blanket and protection to their clients, and also driving that efficiency for them as well. You know, because again, with compliance and everything else out at the end user side, they're setting really long, really strong passwords, and when they have to rotate them all the time, they're not remembering. So you have a lot of that hunt and peck time spent trying to log in or forgot your password type stuff. Just being able to let them click to log on over and over all day just really helps speed them up and keep them more protected as well.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great talking about credential and documentation management with you today. I hope you have a great day, and thank you very much.
Thank you.